Hey, so in this episode, we're fixing the wheel, I suppose. So despite my best efforts, the Corrado probably won't go on three wheels. So I've obviously taken off this wheel. Um, yeah, I've totally had it with this car. There seems to be endless problems, but I think I'm on the very last one, or probably fairly close to it. So the problem was every 1 or 2 days the Corrado wheel would be flat again, and I pumped it up. Went to the tire shop. They took the tire off. Couldn't find anything directly wrong with the tire. We filled the tire up to about, I think it was like 40 or 50 psi. Then put water all over it and tried to find a leak. Couldn't find a leak. We just left for a bit and then came back to it. And there's a tiny leak just at the very back wall of it, so where the metal touches off the tire. So the tire itself is not leaking. It is the seal between the two of them. So we took the bead off. We put this, like, it's a special glue that they have. So they glued it, and when you drive on it, the heat of the friction and the air will actually seal it. And yeah, it didn't work. So I told him it didn't work. I said, right, best thing to do, take it off and take a sandblaster or something to actually physically clean the metal down, and then paint it again, and that'll hopefully do it. And if not, they don't really know, but that's what I'm going to do. So here's the wheel, and I got them to mark it where I think it's leaking. So it's just there. Turn around. So you can see this bit here and this bit here. They've tried to seal it with glue. This is a special glue that they have in the shop, and they did it, and it's leaking slightly less. So it did it with me for about 2 or 3 weeks, but I'd still have to pump it up every so often. What we think is happening is just here there's a lot of corrosion, so there's obviously, like, the paint is bubbling, and the bead will actually sit like where my fingers are, kind of pushed in against here and here. And what's happening is some bit of air is able to get in here, go underneath the paint, so underneath the bead, and then it comes back out here. And yeah, it's bubbling away or leaking, and you can see that the paint is starting to chip away and it's breaking up. So yeah, so my plan is to either hit this with a wire wheel or maybe with a bit of a sandblaster, clean the lip up like all the way around here where the bead would naturally sit, paint it, and then get the tire back on. So they've marked it here with bright yellow to indicate where we were leaking air, and you can see it there. You can see where all the little bubbles are. So it's like a bridge or a tunnel. So when the bead is sitting there, the air is, because it's under pressure, I assume what's happening is it's able to get in here somewhere, go underneath the bead, and then it just leaks back up and out again. And it doesn't have to be a huge amount, it just has to be a little bit all the time, and it's just constantly leaking. So yeah, that's what I'm about to do now. Okay guys, so now I've wire wheeled all the rim. So this is where the bead would sit, and I just used one of these handy wire wheels. I was going to put it into my sandblaster, but I found out that the sandblaster door isn't big enough to make it all fit. So I wanted to sit upright like this, and it'll only sit flat, which is kind of a waste of time because you can't get the gun in at a neat angle. Anyway, that's it all sandblast or wire wheeled all the way around. I scuffed up as much paint as I could to make the new paint stick, and anywhere that was bubbling has all been peeled away. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. And back up to the start again. So you can see there was a huge big bubble here, and again it was where the yellow mark was. All the paint had actually bubbled, and then it was kind of sitting there. So as soon as the wire wheel went on, it just fell off or flaked away in big lumps. So I've just, after cleaning it all back, given it a nice clean. And that V again that I was saying about, that's probably the most important bit, where the flat plane meets the horizontal plane or vertical plane, whatever it is. Again, I've done this side as well. There was a small leak at this side, because I always knew that where the valve was, just beside it, if you lay the wheel on as flat, full of air, and poured water, you might see an odd bubble coming up here. So that was probably that. So I've given it a pretty good clean back, and now the plan is to give it a paint. So I'm going to use good quality hammerite paint that will actually bond to it, not just automotive paint. I want a good quality paint because there's going to be levers pushed on this to actually pull the tire back down onto it, and if I use a very light paint, I'm afraid it'll damage and get chipped, and again we'll end up with the same problem. Okay, brilliant. So I now have the whole rim painted all the way around, and I'm going to let it cure in the sun, and then we're going to put the tire back on afterwards. It's back working again. So it's been 3 days and the car is still holding air, so that's brilliant. And yeah, it's all back together again, so win. So thanks for watching, see you next time.